This is why my brother died. So I posted a story here yesterday, one that I thought was amusing about my poor little brother tricking his horrible wife. It was a good example of what my brother had been like. It got removed because I forgot to mention that this horrible wife had kids that she treated as badly as my brother. That was an oversight on my part. The name of it was My Brother Married a Karen. You can read it in my profile. I tried to link it, but I keep messing it up. In the comments, people had a lot of questions, so I will answer some of them here in this post. My sister-in-law was one of the worst entitled mothers you could ever encounter. She was horrible before she had kids, but when she did have them, a beautiful girl and then a boy, she got even worse. My brother was the sole caregiver of these kids. She would tell my brother that since he wanted them, he could take care of them. When she was home, which was hardly, she ignored them. These kids adored my brother. He did everything with them. My brother was one of my favorite people. He was funny and witty and everyone loved him. He was just too nice. My brother's wife made him quit his job because the kids needed watching. She would always get in arguments with the sitters, but my family was ordered to stay away from them so we couldn't help. Then she would complain because my brother had no money. She was that bloody stupid. This went on for years, and she was very thorough about isolating him. She had a great job, but every spare penny went to buying herself clothes or cars. She even spent $800 on a pedigreed puppy, but changed her mind when it grew up and told my brother to take the dog to the pound. He brought the dog to my house instead. She would have flipped if she had known I had taken that dog for 10 years. Then one day she came home, told my brother she wanted a divorce, and made him leave that night. After this, the rumors started pouring in. If those stories were to be believed, she was screwing everyone in town. Frankly, I didn't believe them at first. She was just too unpleasant to be that popular. Years went by, and my other brother told me she had made a pass at him several times. It seems I was giving her too much credit. However, when my brother finally got visitation, the rest of us were able to see and spend time with the kids. That was a bright spot. She fought visitation, but he won, and that is another story for another day. None of the child support he paid went to the kids though. We bought all their clothes and stuff for school, and it went on like this for years. Still, my brother went into a downward spiral. He drank himself to death. I'm sure that was his intent. It was like a slow-motion bullet, and everything we tried to do to stop it failed. While we were at his funeral with his kids, she hired a U-Haul truck and took everything out of his apartment. She left nothing behind, not even light bulbs or toilet paper. He had been fixing a rare 1940s sewing machine for me, and she even took that. She told me tough when I tried to get it back from her. She kept the money from his insurance and went on vacation with it. The kids got nothing of it. She even kept the $200 whatever from Social Security. We had to pull money to pay for his funeral because she wouldn't help us with the insurance payout. My husband bought my brother's headstone. We were all too heartbroken to try our luck in court. We were also afraid that she would keep the kids from us. Then 1 month after my brother died, she sued my brother's best friend for child support. It turned out that this was true, and my brother's friend was the father of her kids. This so-called friend then abandoned his own family and disappeared. He didn't want to pay child support or face his own wife and kids. We didn't tell the kids this. They couldn't help how they came into the world. Soon, they were old enough to come see us on their own, and this entitled mother hated that fact. To try to thwart this, she told them about their real father. The boy at age 17 shot himself, and the girl at the age of 19 ran away to Canada. This entitled mother actually said that her son wasn't tough enough for the truth, and this wasn't her fault. She was ticked that her son's death had ruined her vacation, and she said so. His friends and my family paid for his funeral. She paid nothing, and once again kept all the insurance money. We still haven't heard from the girl, and it has been years. So that is the story, or at least an abbreviated version of it. It is painful to remember, but my husband was right. It did feel good writing it all out like this. Sad, but good. If that makes any sense. He also said that my niece just might see it here and contact me. I hope so. She would be in her 40s now. I haven't seen this bitch of an entitled mother since my nephew's funeral, and I don't want to. I'm afraid of what I might do if I did, and I'm too old to go to jail. Oh, and for the inevitable trolls that are going to claim that I made this up, or even call my brother names, you can sod the hell off. I've been through more crap than your small-minded comments can put me through, so it's wasted effort on your part. Apologies to the moderators for my screw-up yesterday and my language today. Edit 2. The outpouring of sympathy from everyone has made me cry. I'm someone who doesn't cry easily. This has actually bolstered my faith in humanity, you wonderful people. Thank you. Our next story was posted by user BlueLan, titled, Entitled Parent Tries to Convince Me to Get Pregnant. It's your boy, Skinny Pete. Anyway, it's another job story. And since I've run out of clever names, I'll call her Amber, since screw her. Now, at my job, the bar for workers is set on the ground. Can you stand and move your arms? Great. You have a job. No degree or GED? That's fine. You could have a second grade education, be the biggest drug lord, and you could still have a spot at my job. So Amber is super lazy and thinks she's entitled to break the rules. She gets mad when she can't listen to music or has to wear her safety glasses. At one point she refused to work because it was hot and she wanted to rest in front of the fan while not working. Now that we have all that established, let's move on to why she's an entitled parent. She talks about how hard she works for her son and how she can't afford to lose her job because of her son, but refused to follow the rules that will in fact get her fired. I told her I just had one kid, my cat, Pancake, and she told me that's not a real kid, and once I have my own, I will understand what it means. She somehow found out about my depression and told me that once I have my kid, my depression will melt away. I told her that's not how depression and schizophrenia works, and she told me that once I get pregnant and have a baby, all my problems will be solved. Yeah, people at my job are weird. And here's another story by BlueLan, titled, How a Non-Entitled Parent Took Down an Entitled Parent. So here's a wholesome story. So while the parents in my church were entitled, the single and child-free/childless people were not. They were either indifferent or nice to me and my siblings. They honestly tried to remember who I was and apologize when they got it wrong. However, there was tons more entitled parents than nice people, so their stories with me are limited. So remember that winter retreat I talked about, where they tried to control my bathroom breaks? Well, the year before that, after the retreat was done, we went to a strip mall. I hated clothes shopping, still do, but I loved reading. The girls had to be grouped together, and they all wanted to go clothes shopping. I quietly asked the entitled parent if I could go to the bookstore instead of clothes shopping, and said no. I asked why. Because I hate clothes shopping and I would stay in the bookstore the entire time, and I had my cell phone. I was also 16 or 17 years old. She told me, because the other girls wanted to go, and I needed to sacrifice to make them happy. No surprise her spoiled daughter was in the group. So for 2 hours I followed them around going from clothes store to clothes store. I never complained, and they barely paid any attention to me, only asked me if something looked good on them. So after 2 hours we met up with the parents, and the not entitled parent asked me if I was having fun and bought anything. Me: no, not really. Oh, why not? All we've done is clothes shopping, and I hate clothes shopping. Oh, why didn't they do what you want? I wanted to go to the bookstore, but they refused. Called it boring. Nope, not happening. Non-entitled parent calls the girls away from the entitled parent and says, Listen to me. BlueLan has been doing what you guys want for the past 2 hours with no complaints, and you can't give her 5 minutes in a store she wants? The girls turn red and start mumbling about how books are boring. And she thinks clothes shopping is boring, but she still went with you. Now you guys are going with her to the bookstore and letting her find some books. Stop being so selfish. Do you not agree, entitled parent? Entitled parent turns white and stammers, Yes, of course, they need to be fair. Spoiled daughter, but Mom, I hate books. Non-entitled parent, you can spare 5 minutes. We went into the bookstore, and after 3 minutes, they were complaining so much that the entitled mum agreed to leave me there and letting the other girls go off shopping. They also dumped another unpopular girl there because they didn't think that she was cool enough to shop with them. So, yeah. Our next story was posted by user Curious Kuzco, titled, My entitled aunt stopped talking to me because I wouldn't buy her an iPad. I've been reading this sub for a while, but never thought that I had any stories, until I realized half of the stories are things my aunt would do. Before I dive into the story, it is worth noting I used to be close to my auntie, while my brother was basically another son to her, so here is the story. When I was 16, I began to receive Social Security money from my dad. My dad put off receiving Social Security for a while, so when he finally started receiving it, he had a decent amount accumulated to be distributed to his 3 underage children. This money was for us to use for school or any needs we had, since my mum didn't really have much financial help from my dad. For some reason, my maternal grandma told my aunt that we had received a big check. Unfortunately, my aunt was visiting for about a month, and we had Christmas block party. She decided this was the perfect time to confront me, demanding I buy her an iPad. I said no, because I wanted to use the money for college. She began berating me, saying that I was an entitled brat, that I could easily buy her an iPad and not miss the money. I said no, that she wasn't even related to my dad to begin with, for me buy her something she did not need. When I walked away, she began asking my brother the same thing. He said no, that we were all saving the checks that we got. And she began screaming at him in front of everyone, basically recounting all she had ever gotten for him. She basically disowned him at that point. She did not speak to us for about a year, all because we would not buy her an iPad. Edit. Wow, thank you to whoever gave me the gold. I really appreciate it. Also, for those wondering, my siblings and I don't talk to her anymore. The trash did take itself out. And our next story was posted by user Capital Replacement 0, titled, Entitled Mother Tells My Partner's Family That I Am a Psychopath. I'm not sure if this fits the entitled parent, but she's a parent, so I'm gonna write it here. I'm on my mobile phone, so I will try my best to structure this properly. A little background. My mother adopted me when I was a baby. Since then, she's been molding me into the care for her elderly years, guilt-tripping, saying that she adopted me so I owe her my lifetime, etc. I am an only child, so naturally, this obligation fell on me. However, she comes with debts. About $50,000 in debt. I have to take care of her, of my grandmother, of my uncle, and of my adopted father, plus her debt. Therefore, in her mind, she cannot afford to have me running loose away from her. A little more background. I met my partner long way back. We were dating for 2 years, then I got pregnant. He's a very responsible man, so he would take care of the situation. We did not talk about marriage. We didn't want to get married. But seeing as it's the only way to give our child the best set of security and future, we married and I moved to his country. Yes, I was going to leave my mother, and all the responsibilities she pushed on me behind. The story. I was already 5 months pregnant when I had to travel across the continent to the other side of it. My partner and I bought my plane tickets, but my adopted mother wanted to come with. My partner didn't mind because he didn't know her so well, and maybe she should meet his family too. I complied as long as everyone is comfortable. My mother traveled with me on the plane. I was 5 months pregnant, had bleeding issue, and yet she told me to carry all of the things. Great. I originally sat at the aisle seat in the plane. My partner planned this out so I would have the easiest access to the bathroom. My mother got cranky about it, asking us to switch, and so I said fine, because I didn't want to get any more upset. Once arrived, she didn't do crap. I had to get the luggages myself. The doctor advised me against doing heavy lifting. My mum just sped up her way to hug and kiss my partner's cheek, who was waiting at the exit. But these are all irrelevant to the story. I just had to write these out because I'm still annoyed with her for stupid crap. The true story. 3 days in of staying with my partner's mother, this was around Christmas time. My mother would put ketchup and mustard on everything my mother-in-law made. My partner and I, including his siblings, thought this was super rude, but my mother didn't think so. She thought the food was bad. I, however, thought the food was amazing. These would cost us easily $89 if we got them at the store. But oh no, my mum just had to ruin them with ketchup and mustard. Side note, my mother usually does not do this. Putting condiments on food had never happened before, and the ketchup and mustard would end up on 95% of the food. The kicker of it all? Well, our cast are partner, mother-in-law, me, and entitled mother, which is my mother. Partner: hey, I just wanted to let you know that your mom has been saying some weird crap. Me: okay. Yeah, I don't know how she's comfortable saying all these things to my family. Well, what's she been saying? In a nutshell, she told my mother that you're an unstable emotionally, you're an apathetic psychopath who's feared by everyone in your household, and that you've been abusive towards her. Me: ... That was when I was waking up. So once I took a thoughtful shower, got dressed, I went to ask my mother-in-law about it. Me: is it true that my mother has been saying some weird stuff to you? Mother-in-law: yeah, the things she said, I know they aren't at all true. I knew you since you started dating my kid. You're nothing but a nice and kind girl. Me: start sobbing. Thank you for not believing her. Mother-in-law: I would never ever believe her. I know you, don't you worry. She's not a real mother at all. So, after confirming with my brother-in-law as well, I went to ask my mother about it. Me: I heard you've been saying weird things. Entitled mother: I have absolutely no clue what you're on about. Don't lie. They all told the same story. Stop ruining my life already. I'm not. I just want to see if they can love you like I do. Very bullcrap. I know you ruined my other's relationship as well. Entitled mother looks at me with shock in her eyes. I swear her face went pale. She didn't think I would know. The truth was, I asked my ex's friends about why he just left. He explained that my mum was saying all these things and they scared him away. But in this relationship, I was pregnant. I moved to his country for the baby's sake of a great future. Were she, the baby, to be living with just me and my mother's $50,000 debt? I doubt she'd seriously have a good life. And my mother was willing to ruin the baby's chances at life just because she was petty about not getting a foreigner of a husband herself, and that she had to find a way to get rid of her debt that I did not contribute at all. Me: stop going around telling people that I'm crazy. They obviously know better than you do. Stop bragging about your earnings just to afford me, and stop ruining my mother-in-law's food with ketchup and mustard. That's rude and very low. Entitled mother: but the food is bad. Am I supposed to keep putting up with it? No, but you can leave. I know it'd make my pregnancy easier if you just left. Then she just screamed at me. I went down to my partner instead. She came at me and we fought. My partner sat there holding my hand. Once everything was done, I did not talk to her or let her be anywhere near my pregnant belly at all. She even had the audacity to tell my mother-in-law that my partner and I were fighting, on a verge of breaking up, and that she mediated it all. There are many more crap about my mother had done, but this one truly ticked me off because she was willing to ruin a child's future just because? That's truly sick and disgusting. After she left, she kept sending my partner messages, telling him how handsome he is, how kind he is for taking care of my psychotic butt, and she reminded him of how crazy I am, using our fight as an example. Edit. Wow, thanks for the support everyone. Few things I have to mention here, I suppose, is that 1, this happened 2 years ago. 2, my daughter is now living her best life without my mother's influence on her. And 3, We cut her off because she made it very clear that my small family means frick all to her. 4. My relationship has gotten a lot better without her around. 5. I mentioned that I didn't want to get married because I didn't see a point in it, but we had a child coming. This was the best tactic so we could all be family. I just think that if I had a wedding, my mother would ruin it, so yeah. Our next story was posted by user Lemon Sloth Cake, titled, "My best friend is being forced into doing a virginity test. She is 23. So my friend is from strict religious family, and she has a lot of rules to live by. She has secretly not been following their religion, including dating and stuff. She had planned to leave home multiple times, which would have meant losing her entire family, but she decided she didn't want to. However, she was a Reddit user, and posted questions asking for advice, comments and messages with people on her dating life, lack of religious beliefs, and a strict family. 2 weeks ago, her sisters, who were just as strict as her parents, were doing their routine search through her phone, and they opened Reddit as she forgot to delete the app. They saw everything, every post, every comment. They've been kind to her and think all of it as a cry for help and attention, and my friend said she is happier at home because they have started to listen to her. But her family also have taken away her phone and her bank card to make sure she doesn't run away, even though she has no plans to. She also told me that they plan to take her to a clinic which will perform a virginity test on her. Honestly, the whole situation feels so messed up, and yet she is happy to undergo all of this." Our next story was posted by user Ilberic Soon, titled, "Mother-in-law is quote-unquote spying on me and my husband, and goes inside the house without knocking or saying that she is coming. My mother-in-law is an amazing person. She helped my husband and I a lot with all kinds of stuff. However, I find some of her behavior odd, and I would like to know if you guys think that she is entitled. She does have an extreme over-controlling personality, but she still is amazing. She has the keys to our house. It is a common thing in their family, as my husband also has a key to her house. Last week, we moved to a house, and we still have no curtains in the walls. She lives 4 blocks away, so when she is walking her dog, she comes around the house to have a quote-unquote innocent look at what we are doing, and how the apartment looks. Then, she calls and asks us why the TV is now in the bedroom, and what we were doing at 7 at night. We were fricking in the room. Yesterday, she went into the dentist that is right next to my house, and then she called me and said, 'Hi, you! I can see you from my dentist office.' Later, she dropped by unannounced, and she didn't call or knock on the door. She just opened the door with her key directly and said, 'Sorry, I'm in a hurry, that's why I didn't knock.' I feel like I don't have my privacy at my own home. I talked with my husband about it, and he doesn't see any issue with this. I didn't help financially with the house, so I feel like I have no right to complain about anything, but I still feel weird about this. Is she entitled, or am I overreacting? Edit. Thank you all so much for your tips. Today she showed up again, and I asked her to call next time. If nothing changes, I will perform the blowjob on the front door, while holding a very giant veiny dildo with... Oh, okay. And our last story was posted by user Angelic Swerdian, titled, "Entitled Mother at a Wedding." So this was a few years back now at my friend's wedding. I was one of her bridesmaids. The other bridesmaid was a young girl, about 4, who was the daughter of a family friend. Our cast are EM, the family friend, EK1, the daughter and other bridesmaid, EK2, the son, who was about 5 to 6 years old, F, the friend, BF, my now boyfriend and husband. The first time I met Entitled Mother was on Friends Hen-Do. I had organised for us to go to a certain chocolatieri attraction in the UK, followed up by a pole dancing class. Entitled Mother wanted to bring Entitled Kid 1 with her. I thought that this was weird seeing as it was an adult Hen-Do, but Entitled Mother said friend would be pleased to see Entitled Kid 1. I ran it past the friend's mum, who knew the family, and it was agreed Entitled Kid 1 could come, but would have to leave before the pole dancing class because, you know, it's inappropriate. This meant having to rearrange the coach to pretty much take us back to our pickup point post-chocolate to drop Entitled Kid 1 off and waste almost an hour in the process. It was annoying, but friend's mum thought that it was fine, so I went with what she thought, seeing as Entitled Mother was their friend and not mine. Anyway, onwards to friend's wedding day. The bridal party are all getting ready in the friend's hotel room. Entitled Mother had both Entitled Kid 1 and 2 with her. They're not too bratty at this point. Just being kids fed up watching adults getting hair and makeup done. Entitled Mother kept sending them over to me to keep them occupied while she chats to friend. Again, annoying but not a major problem. Anyway, the evening comes around and it starts to go downhill. Friend didn't have a seating plan, so boyfriend and I choose to sit at a table with my parents, who friend had also invited. I haven't really much had the chance to interact with them because of bridesmaid duties, and I'm quite tired by this point, so it was nice to take the opportunity to relax and unwind. Oh, how wrong I was. This is an Entitled Parents story. Cue Entitled Mother and her husband deciding to come share the table with us. Both kids are bored while waiting for food and the DJ. Entitled Mother and her husband are more interested in getting drunk, so again, they keep sending the kids back to me. I'm tired and just want to rest for a bit before the dancing starts, but these kids keep dragging me up to play every time I try to take a break. Boyfriend gets up with me to try to help out. Eventually, we get so fed up of keeping playing with these kids that neither of us really know, so we go stand in the smoking area. Neither me nor boyfriend are smokers, but it was the only way to stop the kids following us. When we feel we've had enough relief, we head back in. In our absence, the kids had been at the sweet trolley like it was going out of fashion, and the sugar rush hit hard. They were transformed into some unholy combination of a banshee and a Duracell bunny. They no longer talked, they screeched. Back to them dragging me and boyfriend out of our seats to play, except now it was like playing with hyper lion cubs. They were wild. I kept looking back at the table with pleading eyes, but Entitled Mother was busy burying her face in a wine glass. My parents were also uncomfortable, but none of us want to make a scene at friend's wedding. Boyfriend and I didn't get many chances to dance together, so we're trying to enjoy ourselves on the dance floor. These little horrors keep dragging us apart. They were now uncontrollable. Entitled Kid 2 is trying to lift up my dress, while Entitled Kid 1 was trying to pull it down at the front. This dress was quite revealing, and due to an error with the dressmaker, it was a bit too big, so I had to use body tape to make sure I didn't flash people. With Entitled Kid 1 yanking on the front, it hurt. I later had blisters on my mammies, which I can assure you is not pleasant. Boyfriend tries to fend off the horde in an effort to save my dignity. They then round on him and try to pull his trousers down. Remember, Entitled Mother is literally feet away, well aware of what is going on, but does nothing except order more booze. I'm still desperately trying to keep the fuss down so it doesn't spoil friend's day. Boyfriend and I head back to the table in the last desperate hope that Entitled Mother or her husband might finally control their animals. The final straw came when Entitled Kid 2 has worked himself into such a frenzy that he tries to pull my hair and hit me across the face. My dad is normally a quiet man, but he had well and truly enough of this circus, and simply put his hand across my face and boomed, "That's enough!" Look, I know it's a social faux pas to tell someone else's children off, but by this point we were all sick of it. The kids go wide-eyed and scuttle behind Entitled Mother. Entitled Mother shot us a filthy glare, summoned her husband and brood, and promptly left. I also noticed that Entitled Mother had written on friend's guest book. Normally, people put down congratulations to the new couple, wish them happiness, etc. Nope. Entitled Mother had to make it about them, and had written a thank you to friend for making Entitled Kids 1 big day special. Sure. I later found out from friend that Entitled Mother had bitterly complained to her about us, to which friend said, "She was my bridesmaid, not your free babysitter. What did you expect? Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thank you to whoever gave me the silver. There is a lot of people commenting that we should have said something sooner and not been doormats. Admittedly, we probably did let it go on for far too long. We were a bit naive back then, and under a different setting, we probably wouldn't have let it escalate to that point. We were very conscious of not ruining Friend's day. She had spoken quite highly of this family and said repeatedly how cute we were together as bridesmaids, so I didn't really want to cause drama for her. Which was what happened when Entitled Mother bitched about us afterwards. How dare we tell off her angels? We ruined their night. They were so embarrassed that we couldn't stay, etc. I needn't have worried though, because Friend has my back. She's a good friend. Edit 2. Some of the comments are asking about why I allowed them to pull at my clothes and hit me. I can't remember for sure, but I think when we got up to dance, we told the kids we were done playing, and now they had to sit with Entitled Mother or something to that effect. Probably nowhere near firmly enough. We were then ignoring them so as not to reward them with more attention. When they grabbed my dress, it was all very sudden and caught me off guard, because I really wasn't expecting it. So we walked away. Same with the hitting. I was ignoring Entitled Kid too, so I didn't see what he was about to do. Alright guys, that's the end of the episode. If you liked it, tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. If you want to see more, click on the screen to subscribe, hit the notification button, or just check out another episode. There's one for you right here. If there's anything else you guys would like to see, I'm definitely going to be covering something like Just No Mother-in-Law, since I saw a comment about that on one of my other videos. Any other subreddits you guys want to see, I'm cool to check some of them out, as I'm going to start posting 2 videos a day soon. One just with a Reddit video like this, and one with a 10-minute meme video, if you guys want to see that. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!